Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. So today I'm not covering any exciting features or any new release of Microsoft. And yeah, today I thought of, okay, let me do something for business as usual, which is BAU, of how admins can ensure their, the new updates coming for M365 notifications or message center notifications, how they can handle it and review it and take next steps. Yeah, because that's very important. And you could have seen there is a huge flow of updates from the last few months, and since the Copilot, you could see that there's a lot happening in the insecurity side as well as on the M365 stack as a whole. So I thought of, okay, let me cover at least two updates every week, so that to give an glimpse of what is that particular message is for the admins. Is there any actions that needs to be taken, being a user impact or an admin impact? So with that, I'll be ensuring that at least weekly, two updates will be shared so that the admins will not be missing the latest updates. First thing. Second is always the people know that, going into the message and notifications, you might miss out the you might miss the important update inside that, like could be a change required to implement that, or by default the feature is enabled, and how you can tackle that when it comes to the user adoption. So I'll keep it very simple in my session, that the updates are very clear firstly, and the second is the with the minimal steps I would explain you what actions needs to be taken, and I'll also give the clarification of whether it's a user impact or an admin impact, and what you can ensure if this feature is being rolled out. So I have picked up one of the top message center notification in the list. So this is for Microsoft 365 Copilot business justification for Copilot license request. So if your tenant is allowed for subscribing of license from the Microsoft website for the end users, so in that situation, if the person is upgrading from the free version to the Copilot licensed version, so they can procure the license, or you can give them option to give the justification. People can submit the request with the justification why do they need the M365 Copilot license, and you have to configure it little, like how you can go into the billing admin center and check your notifications there if anybody has sent a request and what is the justification behind it. So this one is the requirement is the business need, and yeah. So firstly, this is the in the roadmap still, and it's still not in GA at the moment. So it's 547731 message ID which I'm referring to. So what happens is when they request the license from the admin portal, so this is the Copilot license justification workflow. So as soon as the Copilot license is requested by the end user providing the business justification, so admin, basically a billing admin, can view their messages, or the justification. For instance, here in your screen, so here on the screen you can see John Smith has requested for the Copilot license, and admin review has been done, and the justification has been read there. So on this is on by default, so no configuration is needed. So this will give you a clarity of whether there is any admin change required. And this will be the end user experience, so you can add it to your training documents. If the end user, how they can request the licenses, make sure your tenant is allowed for the self-service license. So if self-service is not enabled, then this particular notification will not have any impact to the organization. So when they click on the request license from the portal, so they get these options. So select your top priorities for Copilot, and once they select the drop down, they will see the list of options available to them. and they can choose it accordingly, or if there is something that is not listed, they can choose the other option and they can provide their own comment as well. So once that is submitted, so it will be under the billing notifications. So for billing admin, they can go into the M365 admin center and the billings. So they will be finding the request forms there. So what you can ensure if in case you got self-service enabled for the end user is that, so notify your help desk or approver whoever is the billing admins here. So review and update your documentation. So make sure your knowledge article, which is for the end users or the training materials, are updated accordingly. And then if the request is raised, do you want any service request needs to be covered for that or anything else, then you can probably adjust those internal workflows like integrating them with the service now, etc. So those things probably you can match according to your tenant. So this is the license workflow continuity. So all existing workflows remains the same. So this is what I said. If your tenant is not subscribed for the self-service for the end user, then they'll not be able to get that request license option itself. In case if your tenant is enabled, that's when they get that option. So you can see that current license request, there's no changes, smooth and uninterrupted operation. That's the ROI here. Well, I am the Gmail user and you have got the Teams license from your enterprise tenant. You wanted to chat with a Gmail user or anybody without the Teams license. So this is something to be noted here. There is a very important bit to understand. This is not available for every tenant, right? So this is just allowed for the open federation tenant. Like for example, the Microsoft, they have got the open federation and they can chat with any customers. Firstly, second is there are a couple of other criteria need to be met, like guest options needs to be taken care. I'll walk through those options of what needs to be enabled. So this message ID is MC11820004. And what is the user impact? How does it look like? So let's walk through. So these are the requirement. So you need to be having an open federation, like I said, the Microsoft license for Microsoft Teams. So if your end users needs to be licensed for Microsoft Teams, and there is a settings in the Teams messaging policy that needs to be enabled for your tenant. And yeah, you can scope it for the set of users or you can scope it to everyone based on your requirement. So this is the command I was talking about in Teams messaging policy. This is the parameter like use B2B invites to add external user. So this is something you need to make sure this is turned on if in your tenant for the users to federate. So guest chat enabled. So this is what I was asking in the Azure Active Directory needs to be enabled. So there's two things which you need to be make sure that first is your users are Microsoft Teams licensed and the guest chat is enabled and your tenant is open federated. So no domain restrictions, public preview enrollment. Yes, this is what I was saying. So this is not in GA. So this is not globally available yet and there is no timelines by Microsoft. However, if you want your tenant to be upgraded for this particular feature, then you have to enroll your tenant to the public preview enrollment. And you can see this is available only to small, medium and business tenants. So if you're enterprise tenants, this feature will not be available at the moment. And you can see the license types here. This works well for if the person is having a Teams Essential license or the basic license like a home license, for example, and if they got business standard like E3, business premium like E5, so that should still work. Right. This is not generally available, which I was saying. Even though you got guest chat enabled, there is no domain restrictions, public preview enrollment is mandatory, and there is not available for GA. Now, if you ask me, how does it look like for the end user? For instance, I am the Gmail user, and you have sent an email. You added my email ID, and you sent hi messages. So that will trigger an email to the Gmail user. And when they click on the link, if they've got Teams installed, it will just open up the Teams application and they can see the messages. Now, if that particular Gmail user, if they try to log in for without the message notification, email, if they try to open up the Microsoft Teams notification and try signing in with the Gmail account, this will not work. So this will only way where the Gmail user can use the link to join. Keep in note, even though they just join that notification messages, they can only join that particular conversation. So they, even though they cannot have, I mean, they cannot have any visibility of your tenant users or even tenant messages, chats, sorry, tenant address book, as well as the tenant properties. Tenant, even the tenant ID cannot be visible for them. So yeah, this is something as a cool feature, but it's not available for the GA yet, and hopefully if it's GA, I would probably take some time to create the video vlog on it and then upload it. So as said, I'll be ensuring that the weekly twice important message center notifications will be updated in my channel, and hope this helps for the admins for tracking as well as tackling those notifications which are rushing every day. Thank you and hope you have a nice day. Bye.